गुड न्यूज गलोर टीम इंडिया फैंस के लिए, दिल्ली कैपिटल्स फैंस के लिए, सारे ऋषभ पंत फैंस के लिए फिटनेस पे बहुत ज्यादा जोर, क्योंकि ऋषभ पंत कमबैक करना चाहते हैं पहले उस आईपीएल 2024 में दिल्ली कैपिटल्स के लिए। उसके बाद भारतीय फैंस को उम्मीद जरूर होगी, आशाएं लगाकर बैठेंगे कि वो वापस आए उस भारतीय टीम में भी। एक हाई ऑल्टीट्यूड मास्क के साथ ट्रेनिंग कर रहे हैं, अपने रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम को और ज्यादा ट्रेन करना चाहते हैं, थोड़ा सा ज्यादा और मशक्कत करना चाहते हैं, बट इट फील्स गुड। जैसे हमें बहुत गुड फील होता है जब आप आ जाते हैं फॉलो द ब्लूज लाइव पर। मेरा नाम है तने तिवारी, मेरे साथ हमारे रेजिडेंट फॉलो द ब्लूज इनसाइडर रोहन देशमुख, सीनियर ESPN क्रिक इन्फो जर्नलिस्ट नागराज गोलापुरी। जेंटलमैन वेलकम। सबसे पहले मिस्टर इनसाइडर, व्हाट्स गोइंग ऑन? ऋषभ पंत, गुड न्यूज इन टर्म्स ऑफ द विजुअल्स, बट हो क्या रहा है वहाँ?
थोड़ा फ्लैशबैक आया मुझे नजर, बिकॉज आई सॉ सिमिलर काइंड ऑफ विजुअल्स बैक इन 2016 और उसके 2016 में जिस तरह से विराट कोहली ने जो है सबसे पहले ये मास्क पहन के वो विजुअल अपने इंस्टाग्राम पे डाले थे, एंड देयर यू गो दोस विजुअल्स। I think you and Nagraj, both of you who are more into fitness, should tell us exactly होता क्या है इससे। Nagraj, what does होता क्या है इससे? When you wear this mask and you do your exercises, क्या फायदे होते हैं?
नागराज भाई आप ही बता
I
सकते
don't
हैं।
have an idea right now, but I have to. I was curious when Kohli was wearing it and running a couple of years ago in Dubai. Remember that? I don't know whether this is for VO2 max, which is more for like cardiovascular, the endurance. Whether it is true, I need to check because this is quite interesting. I was intrigued even then when Kohli was wearing it, and I don't know whether Rohan you were around that point, so you might have a better idea. But let's maybe for the next chat, I will try and dig into this and get some info.
Tanay?
No, it does, yeah. It is largely for VO2 max. He's absolutely right. But मेरा जवाब तो रहता है, कूल लगता है, पहन के बहुत कूल लगता है. So that is one advantage.
भाई लेकिन I mean सांस कैसे लेंगे? Like that's the main thing. Try running. Try closing your mouth and try run even for like 100 meters. Ordinary person, you will start huffing and puffing. But it's clearly looks like there is a cardio element. But let's not get ahead of ourselves and speculate. We'll get some authentic details.
Yeah.
soon
You
on
know
that.
what? विराट कोहली ने ये जो है दुबई की गर्मी में ग्राउंड में भी ये मास्क पहन के उन्होंने अभ्यास किया था, तो आई एम श्योर देयर मस्ट बी अ लॉट ऑफ बेनिफिट्स कमिंग बिहाइंड दिस काइंड ऑफ ट्रेनिंग।
That's right. अब ये तो बात हो गई ऋषभ पंत की, और हम जरूर बात करेंगे जिस तरीके से वो कमबैक कर रहे हैं उनकी, एंड इन द कमिंग डेज ऑफ कोर्स देयर विल बी मोर न्यूज़ अराउंड इट। बट भारतीय टीम के इर्द-गिर्द क्या लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स हैं?
अपडेट ये है कि कुछ खिलाड़ियों के साथ जो है तने तिवारी मुंबई पहुंचे थे। ये हुआ है कि काफ़ी जो है खिलाड़ी जो है अब घर चले गए, क्योंकि ये अक्सर होता नहीं है कि 5 मैच के सीरीज में जो है 2 लंबे जो है ब्रेक्स मिलते हैं। अभी एक ब्रेक मिला है क्योंकि 4 तारीख को, तकरीबन 3 या 4 तारीख को जो है भारतीय टीम धर्मशाला में असेंबल होगी वो टेस्ट मैच खेलने के लिए। लेकिन उसके पहले अब सबको जो है छुट्टी दी गई है, सब अपने अपने घर चले जाएंगे। ये तस्वीरें हैं कुछ रांची एयरपोर्ट की, वहाँ पर आप देख सकते हैं कि सब जो है अपने घर वापस जाते हुए। और साथ ही में रोहित शर्मा को आपने देखा, वहाँ पर रोहित शर्मा को लेकर जो है सुरेश रैना ने काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बात कही है। उन्होंने कहा है कि रोहित शर्मा को देख के उन्हें कहीं ना कहीं MS धोनी की याद आती है। रोहित शर्मा अगले MS धोनी है। उन्होंने अच्छा प्रदर्शन किया है और धोनी की तरह युवा खिलाड़ियों को भी मौका दिए हैं। सौरव गांगुली ने अपनी टीम को बहुत सपोर्ट किया, उसके बाद धोनी ने टीम को फ्रंट से लीड किया। रोहित एक शानदार कप्तान है और टीम को सही दिशा में ले जा रहे हैं। तो ये जो रोहित के बारे में बात की है, ये रोहित के इन द वे ही रैलीज द टीम, जिस तरह से टीम को सपोर्ट करते हैं, जो यंगस्टर्स हैं उनसे बात करते हैं, उस बात को लेकर जो है कहीं ना कहीं सुरेश रैना ने MS धोनी और रोहित शर्मा की तुलना की है।
और नागराज जी, हमने देखा है ये रोहित शर्मा की कप्तानी के बारे में कई सालों से ये बात होती आ रही है। ऑफ कोर्स पहले मुंबई इंडियंस में होती थी, जस्ट द वे ही लेड देम टू दोस 5 टाइटल्स। लेकिन उसके बाहर भी जब आप किसी भी युवा खिलाड़ी से सुनते हैं रोहित शर्मा की कप्तानी के बारे में, जो दिग्गज बाहर से एक्सपर्ट्स बैठकर देखते हैं उनकी कप्तानी, उनसे सुनते हैं, सेंटिमेंट लार्जली सेम ही रहता है उनकी कप्तानी के इर्द-गिर्द।
Yes, I think the best part about Rohit is like he's such a chilled out character, isn't it? Like you, whether you're a player, journalist, he treats you pretty much the same. He has respect, but he'll talk to you like, yeah, he knows you, or like he'll kind of make something and make you laugh and all that. He makes you feel easy. You don't feel really conscious. You don't feel really conscious like, oh, you're in the presence of this great. He's a great player. He's done so many great feats. I mean, as a ODI, there's nobody who comes close to him in terms of the way he, not just the centuries and runs, etc. He was the World Cup's highest run getter in 2019, blah, 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 and all that. We can keep going on. But as a leader, Rohit ranks at par with Dhoni, or rather, in you will talk in the same line, in the same breath, and you don't feel like that's wrong, because of course, at IPL, both of them have won 5 titles each, and players have kind of complimented and commended them for what they have. Let's stick to this series. This series, you start after the first match, question marks were raised. People were talking about, oh, Rohit's captaincy, should we do something? Should we write something? I remember in media circles, people were talking about it, and it's like it was too harsh and too quick to judge, because you need to look at the circumstances. Virat Kohli, the key player for India, pulls out 2 days before the series. So Rohit is suddenly like, what do I do? Day 3 of Rajkot Test, where the entire series was in, if you guys remember, 207 for 2, England end the day with Ben Duckett having given them that blitzkrieg start. India, though, having scored that first inning score, they were like 400 odd runs. Yashasvi Jaiswal's 200. But India still were like, looking at the way baseball was playing, you would think that England could have got the upper hand. R. Ashwin then pulls out on third day for personal reasons. What is Rohit left with? I mean, these are kind of things. How does a captain have to deal with? He has to kind of put up not just a straight face, but also have a cool head and make planning. So what does he do? He kind of makes those changes. On day 3, he brings in Siraj at the right time, the reverse swing, etc. works. Kuldeep Yadav gets those things. R. Ashwin gets into the act afterwards at some other point in the series. These are kind of things that Rohit should get the sort of, should be highlighted about clearly. And personally, his batting, first 4 innings of the series, not much, right? Not even a half century or something. Then at Rajkot again, 33 for 3. India are on 33 for 3 on having won the toss and batted. He scores 131. I think it's highest as a captain, if I'm not mistaken. 131 runs he scores. Has a 202 run or 4-run partnership with Jadeja. That sets the backbone for India. Those are kind of things. And the last one I want to point out is this last innings he played in Ranchi when India were chasing on that final morning. His partnership, that 50 runs he scored quickly. Not quickly as such, but more the manner in which he scored. He knew that he had to him and Jaiswal had to kind of give a quicker start, make use of the pitch before it starts kind of acting up, or rather playing kind of it's that uneven points that come into picture. So yeah, I mean, all these instances that I've just pointed out make Rohit the kind of thing that he had to handle a lot of pressure. He had to ensure that the youngsters were like grounded, at the same time understanding the plans and executing them. So yeah, under pressure he has performed, and this is like one of his best series wins, I would think.
आसान नहीं है रोहित शर्मा होना, बिल्कुल भी आसान नहीं है भारतीय क्रिकेट में। उन्होंने खुद भी कहा कि जब तक हम जीतते हैं तब तक सही है कि हाँ, भारत में तो आपको जीतना ही है, ऑब्वियस है, लेकिन जब हम हारने लग जाते हैं तो चर्चाएं कुछ और तरीके की हो जाती हैं। लेकिन अभी इस वक्त सबसे अच्छी बात यह है कि भारतीय टीम ये सीरीज जीत चुकी है। पूर्व इंग्लैंड कप्तान नासिर हुसैन ने क्या कहा भारत की इस जीत के बारे में, की स्टेक होल्डर्स के बारे में इस भारतीय टीम के, आइए सुनते हैं।
17 series in a row they've won at home. That's how difficult they are to beat in those conditions. But I sit here at home and see it as a missed opportunity, in as much as there is no Virat Kohli, there is no Mohammad Shami, there is no Rishabh Pant. For most of the series, there's no KL Rahul. Jasprit Bumrah has been rested. Jadeja injured. Ashwin has to leave for a day of Test match cricket. There were opportunities there. I like the Giral story. I think he had to hide from his dad that he was still playing cricket. You know, his dad didn't want him to be a cricketer. It's the anti, like me, born in India. My dad just wanted me to be a cricketer. So his dad didn't. He wanted something a bit more sort of regimented, a bit more safe, shall I call it. And he was sat at the table. I think I read this story today, reading the paper, and he turned to Dhurav Giral and went, there's a lad with your name getting some load of runs out there. And Giral didn't want to tell him that that's actually me, Dad. So there's been some fascinating stories, as there often is with India. We haven't touched on one, actually, Kuldeep. Kuldeep coming back in the side, runs and wickets. That's what I mean about England, if you don't mind me saying. You know my comment about have a look at yourself and try and improve? I think that's what I like about Kuldeep. Kuldeep, first couple of times, he couldn't quite, either one-day cricket and test cricket, he couldn't quite nail it. And he had to look at himself, bowl a bit quicker, become a bit more accurate.
कितनी दिलचस्प बात है ना रोहन भाई कि उन्होंने कहा, और ऑफ कोर्स ध्रुव जुरेल एक ऐसा नाम है, जब से उन्होंने डेब्यू करा है, जिस तरीके से वो रन्स बनाए, कठिन रन्स बनाए, कठिन परिस्थितियों में रन्स बनाए, लेकिन उससे ज्यादा कहीं ना कहीं एक कंपोजर दिखाया। हमने सनी सर से सुना कमेंट्री में, उन्होंने कहा कि कुछ झलकियां जरूर हैं। कल हम उनके साथ रांची में स्टार स्पोर्ट्स के स्टार नहीं फार के एक इवेंट में थे, वहां पे भी उन्होंने कहा कि कुछ इंस्टिंक्ट्स उनकी कीपिंग में, उनकी बल्लेबाजी में थोड़ी थोड़ी झलकियां दिखाते हैं एमएस धोनी की।
देखिए, जिस तरह से सनी सर ने कहा कि झलकियाँ दिख रही है एमएस धोनी की, इट्स अ बिग स्टेटमेंट, क्योंकि हम इसके पहले भी शो पे बात कर रहे थे कि कैसे सनी सर ने बिल्कुल 10 साल पहले दो खिलाड़ियों के बारे में कहा था कि कैसे ये दो खिलाड़ी यानी कि रोहित शर्मा और विराट कोहली जब वो बल्लेबाजी कर रहे थे बिल्कुल 10 साल पहले, कमेंट्री में कहा था कि हमें भारत का फ्यूचर नजर आ रहा है। अगर सनी सर जैसे लेजेंड को ध्रुव जुरेल में वो काबिलियत दिखती है, इट्स ग्रेट फॉर इंडियन क्रिकेट। एंड द फैक्ट दैट जिस तरह से ध्रुव जुरेल की स्टोरी भी रही है, जैसे उन्हें जिस तरह से उनको जो है काफ़ी कुछ स्ट्रगल से आगे आना पड़ा, जिस तरह से खास करके सिलेक्टर्स ने उनको स्काउट किया, ये एक आईपीएल स्काउटिंग की तरह टेस्ट स्काउटिंग हुई है ध्रुव जुरेल की, क्योंकि ही इज़ वेरी यंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट एज वेल। इतने मैचेस भी नहीं खेले हैं, बट इट वॉज अ बोल्ड डिसीजन फ्रॉम द सिलेक्टर्स टू गेट ध्रुव जुरेल इन, कंसिडरिंग दैट कहीं ना कहीं एक तरीके से बात हो रही है कि आपको डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट खेलना चाहिए और डोमेस्टिक क्रिकेट में परफॉर्म करने के बाद जो है आप टेस्ट क्रिकेट पे आओगे। बट इफ़ यू लुक एट ध्रुव जुरेल सिलेक्शन, it has been one of the boldest kind of selection that has happened so far in Indian cricket.
एक बहुत बड़ा टेक अवे है, कुलदीप यादव की बात करी वहां नासिर हुसैन ने। नागराज, आपके लिए व्हाट वर द बिगेस्ट टेक अवेज, क्योंकि इतने सारे थे, बट इफ यू टू हाईलाइट से 2-3 ऑफ देम, वो कौन से होंगे आपके लिए सीरीज विन से?
Too many, man. It's like, but I think we should just talk about the youngsters to begin with, because they are the ones who made the series. So Kuldeep Yadav, we've already spoken about. I mean, he's come out as a key spinner in this series. Though Ravindra Jadeja won in Rajkot the Man of the Match series for his all-round thing performance, but I think Kuldeep has played a very key role in all the matches that he's played since the second test. Then you have Shubman Gill. Shubman Gill is a story of one of the stories of this series. The way he again kind of started, there were question marks raised about his average being in the 30s after 20 innings or something like that, and all those numbers were very valid and very valid questions. It's not like people were kind of raising this for any sort of agenda or reasons. No, it was not being raised because he has got that experience now at that level. So people were saying that what's happening, why is he not able to cash in opportunities? But he was also playing a different role, number 3. He was kind of understanding, and then when you don't have the senior players, the regulars around, and a lot of movements are happening in the team when you have KL Rahul and in the first test, then you don't have KL Rahul and Ravindra Jadeja in the next test, then you suddenly become one of the senior batters, and outside of Rohit Sharma, everyone is like inexperienced. So how do you do that? Then he comes back and scores the century in Rajkot, then he fails again, but then he picks himself up again and makes 91, and then he plays the innings of one of the best innings he will like. I mean, we will remember Gill so far for that Brisbane 91. Now we'll be talking about Gill's half century in Ranchi on the final day in the 5th. Yeah, one thing about Gill and Jurel, which Rohit mentioned, was like he was talking about the pitch yesterday, and he was saying that look, you don't go by how the pitch looks. No, you should never go by that. You should go by how it performs. And this pitch, according to Rohit, was a good pitch, was a challenging pitch for everyone. And he said that look at the runs scored. Root scored a century. India had you had Indian performing. He said that look at the number of balls certain number of batters have played. By itself shows that pitch was, though it had uneven bounce or was testing the batter's defense, you could play, you could survive. And both Gill and Jurel have showed, if you look at the number of balls they survived in the sense they played, it shows that they have a very good defensive game, or they're understanding what defense is a big role. And also rotating the strike is another point that Jurel has understood. One of our morning calls on ESPN Cricket Info, we were talking about that. One of the points raised by editor Sambit Pal was that he was like, the art of taking a single he was talking about is like like lost in Test cricket, in modern day Test cricket. But Jurel is like shown that, and Jurel has shown that because he not only plays with a straight bat but also can manipulate the gaps. And how can you manipulate the gaps? Because he can step out. He was stepping out. He was reading the lens very quickly, and he could jump out of the crease and use his wrist to find those gaps or play on the back foot. So yeah, I mean, these are amazing signs for India that a team which is in transitioning has certain players who were not part of their original 15 and have come and done the job. So these are positive signs. We don't want to kind of hype them up too much, but yeah, these are good starting signs and positive ones for the selectors and the think tank.
अभी आप फॉलो द ब्लूज लाइव पर हम बहुत सारे सब प्लॉट्स की चर्चा करते हैं। भारतीय युवा खिलाड़ी एक सब प्लॉट जरूर है जिसकी लगातार चर्चा होती आई है, लेकिन ईशान किशन और क्यूरियस केस ऑफ ईशान किशन की बहुत चर्चा होती आई है। रोहन भाई, आज देखें, एक्शन में देखें और काफी समय बाद देखें।
इंटरेस्टिंगली, और बड़ा स्टेटमेंट रोहित शर्मा के आने के बाद दूसरे दिन जो है ईशान किशन जो है मैदान पे दिखे। ऑब्वियसली आरबीआई को रिप्रेजेंट करते हुए डीवाई पाटिल T20 कप में आज फिलहाल खेल रहे हैं वो। And the match is going on, but he's playing a competitive game after a long time. साउथ अफ्रीका दौरे से वापस आने के बाद जो है पहला मैच ईशान किशन जो है खेल रहे हैं। और दूसरी तरफ और एक खबर आ रही है श्रेयस अय्यर को लेकर कि पॉसिबली ही इज फिट एंड वो भी जो है रणजी ट्रॉफी सेमीफाइनल मुंबई के लिए खेलने वाले हैं। सो बोथ ऑफ दिस प्लेयर्स हु वर नॉट टॉक्स की वो लोग खेल नहीं रहे। ईशान किशन हैज रिटर्न टू T20 action, and Shreyas Iyer possibly will be featuring in Mumbai's lineup as well.
Now, this is a very interesting point, नागराज, जो रोहन भाई ने भी अभी बोला कि रोहित शर्मा ने जो कहा कल उस प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में कि जिनको भूख है हम सिर्फ उनको ही खिलाना चाहते हैं। Is that, and maybe it's just coincidence कि एक दिन बाद तुरंत बाद ईशान किशन और श्रेयस अय्यर के बारे में एक खबर आती है, हम ईशान किशन को खेलते हुए देखते हैं। But is that largely a message to everyone who's playing, especially जो domestic cricket खेल रहे हैं इतने सारे खिलाड़ी, कि आप चिंता ना करें, हम देख रहे हैं आपको और आपके जो contributions हैं towards domestic cricket, they are valued.
Yeah. I agree with that. A good point you make. And we spoke about that at length yesterday. So yeah, it is clear that it's a very bold and strong statement and very clear statement coming from one of the top guys in Indian cricket in terms of, I'm talking from the cricketing point of view, which is the captain. And the captain himself is saying that this is very clear from our point of view. What we want is we want players who are committed. And that is, he didn't use the word committed, but hunger, bhook, dedication, because all kinds of hard work, etc., all that adds up to. You need that commitment, and that commitment comes not just by being in the squad and you getting the opportunity. When you get the opportunity, show us that you are working hard to encash that opportunity. If you don't show us that, then we know that. I mean, that's very easy for that kind of, like, any expert can pick it up, that when you're not. So he didn't take names, and which is wise. And he also said in that same statement, we should not forget, he's saying that this doesn't apply that the people who are playing here also applies to people who are not playing here. He's saying that those guys, he's not seen. He said that I have not seen yet that any player who is here or not, who's not here, not showing that hunger. So we should also point that out, because it's not like Shreyas Iyer and Ishan Kishan, immediately the focus went to them because these are the guys who have been in the news for or different reasons. But today, now it's good news that now Shreyas Iyer is, I just called, just when you might have heard that I spoke to the MCA manager, the Mumbai team manager, and he confirmed that yes, Shreyas will be available, or rather he is part of the squad for the next the Ranji semi-finals, which would be his second Ranji match, by the way, this season. He played for one of the first games against Kerala, I think, was it? Guys, you might know. Yes. And he played that first match at home, and now he'll be playing another match, and it's good. Of course, there is contracts around the corner. The BCCI is going to announce, and the BCCI has made it clear that put all first-class cricket ahead of IPL. So, and Ishan Kishan is the most interesting one here, the curious one here, because this is the first time he's coming since taking a break in South Africa series in December. The first match he's playing is at not even it's a very competitive tournament, but it's not a BCCI run tournament. So, a T20 tournament a month before the IPL. So it's going to be interesting what kind of decision making, or who are the decision makers he spoke to before taking this step, whether the selectors know this and all that. So yeah, it's quite interesting.
देखिए यही है ना, इंडियन क्रिकेट के इतने सारे सब प्लॉट्स हैं कि उसको एक एक करके इन्वेस्टिगेट करना पड़ता है, लेकिन आज अपनी इन्वेस्टिगेशन पर यही रोक लगाते हैं। फॉलो द ब्लूज लाइव पर इतना ही वक्त है हमारे पास। बिग थैंक्स टू डिटेक्टिव गोलापुरी, बिग थैंक्स टू डिटेक्टिव देशमुख। आई एम डिटेक्टिव तिवारी साइनिंग ऑफ। विल सी यू टुमारो ऑन फॉलो द ब्लूज लाइव।